You will never sustain happiness. You will sustain happiness when you start removing these blockages, emotional blockages inside of you, so that this feeling can well up and you can be at peace and feel this at all times, regardless of whether you got the trophies or the wife or the $1 million. You will feel it regardless of what is happening in your life. And that was a shift for me. I'm not saying you can't make $29,000 and have trophies, but while you're pursuing what you desire, work on your inner world to remove these blockages, to release them for good, so that you can feel happy more and more and more instead of chasing something.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also want to go back to it's why do you want these things?
Let's talk about that. Why? It's because, and again, very blunt and honest, we are not okay on the inside. I was not okay on the inside because if you're needing something externally to feel good, you're you're not okay. Why are you not okay? Because you're blocked. Why are you blocked? Because your whole life you've suppressed stuff, haven't handled the moment, have all this resistance. That's why. And so I'm unwell and I'm younger and I want the dream girl and I want, the car and the house and what everyone wants. But I've gotten a lot of stuff and it never, I want more. My humanness wants more, so like we're not okay. If we can admit and take responsibility and no judgment, every single human being has done this, by the way. We are not okay on the inside for one reason or another. Why am I not okay? If you go that route, which I help my clients with, and I do, if we go that route, we can seek internal fulfillment versus the external route, which we know will never work. We're always chasing.
That's exactly why I was looking. I'm like, why do I even feel as though I wanted these things to begin with? I was looking for fulfillment in
Yeah.
all areas of life. And
Yeah.
so I realized that no, it's already within me. And not saying you're going to realize that overnight. That took years, like at least 5 years to figure that out. But I'm completely resonating with what you're saying.
Yeah. You had a midlife crisis at 25, which is pretty cool. Like that's awesome because mine was in my mid 30s, right? So yeah, you wake up like something is off because I have everything that society told me. I graduated from school, I got the house, I got the wife, got the kids, got the car, my bills are paid, but internally I'm not feeling okay. That's a moment I woke up to, the spiritual awakening, right? Where I really woke up, realizing why am I here? What is the purpose of all this, right? And then you go down that route and the world opens up to you and you look at everything differently than being stuck in this matrix, this 3D world. Why is it like this? Why is it a systematized, So then it just blows you open to more and more. So I know more and more people are waking up right now spiritually, emotionally, which is really, really exciting because everyone listening to this is probably nodding their head, waking up, craving this stuff, hearing stories from other people because it's very real. Um, you realize you're not okay. You realize everything you ever wanted didn't satiate it. What what is this all about? Why am I here?
I'm realizing when my internal world is shifting, so is my external world without me having to do much. So that's also another amazing benefit.
But realize, like you said, when you make the internal changes, release the blockages, release the emotions that have, and integrate parts of you that were trapped and lost and suppressed. Doesn't mean dark parts all the time, it means good parts too. But we hold that in with shame, right? When you work on yourself and you integrate, the internal changes impact your external world. So you change inside and the world changes on the outside. That's the spiritual awakening, is realizing, oh, I've been trying to manipulate the external world through hard work and force and the way my mind wants it to be, and a goal and a plan and a strategy. But if I change my inner world, remove these blockages, resonate more, that's where your vibration raises. That's where you become more integrated and whole, and people magnetically come into your world, not the other way around, not through force in your mind, not through the world and to do lists, through these internal changes, right? That's crazy because everyone's like conditioned hard work, work your butt off, work all the hours, do all the to-do list, productivity. I was a big productivity junkie, by the way. That's just coping with you're just staying busy all the time, productive, right? Burying the stuff. But anyway, the internal changes will reflect in your outer world. I was supposed to be on that show when COVID hit, and then obviously China got locked down, right? But I was bummed because I've been on big shows before. But this last winter, December, I was just laying in bed, being relaxing, and this all of a sudden this vision started coming to me like I'm gonna be in front of millions of people, helping millions of people, and I got really juiced and excited, like my soul was speaking to me. But I didn't go out and like try to do anything about it, like get on shows or apply. And all of a sudden, December 31st, there's this Facebook post in a group I'm a part of from a guy I know saying the Chinese Brain Show is looking for an international competitor of memory who's qualified and also has a Chinese visa. Well, I'm a 3-time US memory champion. I was supposed to be on the show before. I have a Chinese visa because I've been to China. It was like, there's your manifestation. It wasn't me like trying to create the scenario in my mind. It came to me and it overwhelmed me. The vision overtook me, and here it is. Like now I'm in front of 400 million people in China and like this huge show, right? So I share that because there's a lot of inner work, and I stopped trying to manifest from my mind, my ego, which there's two ways to manifest. You can be in alignment, the divine alignment, which takes a lot of surrender and unknown and fearlessness, or you can try to manifest from your mind and your wounds that are where you're not okay. So I need that car, I need that life, I need that, right? You can manifest that way, but life's going to get loud for you. The trust is, and trust takes time to develop with this new approach, right? You have to learn how to do this, but everything I need is in this present moment. And I know that sounds crazy to your mind. You're like, no, I got a plan, I got a whatever. No, what is arising internally, externally, in the present moment, if you stay in this moment and do the best you can, make the highest choices you can, be with the emotions, everything will unfold beautifully for you. But that is so hard for people to do, right? It's very hard because we're trained to like plan our life and goals and manifest, and like you can do it that way, but it ain't it. You are gonna run into your midlife crisis, probably not as soon as you did, like, but you're gonna run into it.
Yeah, at some point you will, for sure.
Those lessons are the greatest gift. Like looking back, when I was having daily panic attacks, thought I was going to die, like something was really wrong with me, like the most miserable experience of my life. I felt helpless. I look back very fondly of that time because it was the greatest gift ever given to me because it woke me up. I completely made huge changes in my life so that I don't have anxiety anymore. I don't have panic anymore. I'm the happiest I've ever felt. I'm most innerly fulfilled I've ever felt. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but all this internal resistance is dissolving, releasing, integrating, and I'm becoming more whole. So that's again another testament to this present moment, everything you need. Like people push away uncomfortable emotions, but those are gifts. And I know that sounds crazy when you're in it. Trust me, it sounds like awful advice, but it is trying to teach you something. So the best thing we can do is surrender to it. Surrender doesn't mean give up. Surrender just means allow it to happen, trusting it. Let it overtake you because it's a part of you that wants to be seen. It is your 5-year-old self begging for attention because she's scared or he's scared, which sounds crazy, right? I'm a guy. I get it. Like this sounded crazy to me but it is. It's fragments of yourself in your past that are screaming at you when you're 37 years old to see me, feel me, hold me so you can integrate.
Yeah. I think that's why I really connected with you being in the performing situation, that high pressure situation, because
Mhm.
I am practicing the mindfulness and being in the present moment and just resonating with being the awareness behind my ego.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these high pressure situations, that is when it can go off the radar. So I loved how you were able to talk about that.
And I look at this too because people ask me all the time, "Oh, I couldn't." They say, "Oh, I couldn't do that," or "That's crazy," or like. And everyone wants to be on, like, not everyone, but a lot of us want to be on stage. We want to be sharing to the world and sharing our gifts, but we're afraid and we have shame. And like, I do too, right? I did very massively. The reason, if I can look at this objectively, most people never make it there or have trouble. Again, they're trying to achieve it through the external world. They're trying to do it with spreadsheets and tactics and strategies and knowledge outside of them, when in fact, leaning into the discomfort of the performance, the anxiety of it, the nerves, the butterflies, the adrenaline, if you can lean into that discomfort, right? Like, allow it to happen, knowing that that's the way. It's not the strategies. You're not gonna have a coach who's just gonna pump you up all the time. Like, you're gonna get pumped up like Tony Robbins or Joe Dispenza. No offense to these guys, pump, pump up, and then you're gonna come back home and you're gonna crash back down to your level, your shame, your procrastination again. I did that so many years. But if I start leaning into this discomfort, I expand because I'm accessing the stuff that I need to. And that's why so many people never get there, is because it's so uncomfortable to be anxious, to be nervous, to have adrenaline, to feel these uncomfortable emotions. But those uncomfortable emotions are the greatest gift for your expansion. When they say face your fears, doesn't mean like, it doesn't necessarily always mean like just force yourself to take the action. As you're taking the action, feel yourself overwhelmed with fear. That's the greatest gift you can do. I can't tell you how many times I did that. Felt it all wash over me, relaxed into it, and then all of a sudden you get clarity and you're able to take that step, that incremental step for the next step. Not by force, but by surrender, the feminine aspect. Men listening, it ain't through do, grind, grind, grind. You're going to burn out, right? Women too. There's a balance to this. There's an ease. Like, you can actually tap into the flow of life, the present moment, giving you everything you need, uncomfortable or not. Tapping into that is much easier than you and your limited mind trying to force what you're manifesting. Because the universe knows what's going on. Like, God works much more magically and much more knowing way and much more non-linearly than you can imagine. So if you lean into that, what's here right now, you're going to get there faster. You're going to expand, right? Instead of you trying to do it yourself.
Well, John, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was just an incredible conversation. Can you tell us more about what you do and where we can find you?
Yeah, I have a free guide for anyone on how to release the suppressed emotion for good, like anxiety, panic. If you go to releasepanic.com/free, there's a free 12-minute video. I just dive right in, like rip the Band-Aid off much more deeply than I shared here, so people can get started on that journey. But what I do is I work with top performers, entrepreneurs, people like yourself, people who are looking to expand into their greater potential, right? Because the anxiety, shame, everything keeps us in it. Releasing these trapped emotions and energies and becoming aware of the ego, right, and transcending it is what I help people with. So I help very specifically these people release anxiety, chronic anxiety, and panic attacks forever. Not with the Band-Aids, but like, we go in and do this work and I guide people through that. They can do it themselves. They don't need me as their therapist. This is not therapy. If anything, it's empowering you to be able to do it on your own, which we all have that gift and ability. So go get that free guide, releasepanic.com/free, and then you'll get on my email list and I can tell you all about the programs that I offer.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app, available on iOS and Android today.